My Oldsmobile, when it runs, it goes blah, 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 like that. Is that how they're supposed to sound? Seriously. Oh, can you tell when number 8 is signed off and it's back on its new rhythm of 1, 2, 3 again? Can you tell? Because mine goes, it runs, skip, runs, skip, runs, skip. And the skip sounds like the beginning of the 8 cylinders running again.
So it sounds like one valve sticking somewhere.
Is that what it is? It was a spark plug wire, which I fixed. It was green in the cap. Oh, yeah. Brand new now, and made very
Just
little difference. Everything's new. But one was green, so I cleaned it out. But
one new wire.
No, it was all like new, but it sat for a lifetime, and one wire was out, so one terminal got gray. Yeah. And when I checked it, it was green. So I cleaned it real good.
Have you ever got it warm, right?
And it doesn't work any better now.
It's still got the bub.
Yeah, that's how it runs.
Have you ever tried the steam for?
But it's not supposed to sound like that, is what you're saying.
It should be smooth.
You should not be able to tell when number 1 starts again.
Right.
Okay, it's not working right. There's something amiss. It has a rumble to it.
Yeah.
Like it's got a cam.
Yep.
Like I am not going to demonstrate it, but you have to use your imagination, because we all heard it run. It's never changed. It's the same sound as now for 2 years.
Or was it a used motor?
No, it's a rebuilt motor some time ago.
Was it run after it was rebuilt?
Yeah, several thousand.
Several thousand. So even if it had a piece of carbon under a valve, you could take that motor and stand there and open that up at the quarter throttle, take some water.
After it's hot.
When it's hot, run a quarter throttle, dribble some water down in it. Dribble while it's running, keep it running a quarter throttle, just dribble some water in it. And then rev it up a few times, and then do it again. Rev it a few times. If there's any carbon on the valves, that steam will blow the carbon right off the valves from the water.
Mm-hmm. Jeez, I got a bunch of valves I got to clean.
You can do it with ATF too, but the ATF doesn't seem to peel it off as quick.
I've used transmission fluid with my gas. Yeah.
Good.
It seems to make the car work better.
It cleans a lot of stuff in there real good. Yeah.
Like, to be honest with you, like
even if it has a sticky ring or something, right? It helps with that too. Like, done that before, even motorcycles. I've done it with motorcycles a bunch of times.
Yeah, I've done that also. And it worked better than it did when I just run straight fuel, you know what I mean?
I fogged them with ATF too while they were running. Fogged them. That type of thing. Then you give them a couple good revs. Once you do it, then you give them a couple real good revs. Then open them full barrel, see if it does anything. But okay, what kind of carburetor you got?
A newer Rochester.
Newer Rochester.
Newer, only still in the 50s.
Yeah, I got it. It's vintage still, but new. Well, I got
It's still got the same name.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not a Quadrojet.
Oh, it's not a bog Chester.
It's older than that. It's older than that. So.
I've heard quite a few cars with the bog. Yeah.
I was always a fan of a Holly, but a Holly, it just depended on every day. If it was raining, I was adjusting it. If it was sunny, you'd adjust it. If it was, you pretty hard to adjust it to the weather. We're stuck down with the Holly to keep the performance out of it. But the Elbrox, you just put them on and run them, but they ain't got the performance that the other ones have with the Elbrox quite as much.
Yeah, you almost have to put all those controls on little cables to buttons on the dash.
Yeah, I like that.
Just
or I guess in today's standards, put wireless tech bugs on them, and they'll move them.
Oh no, everybody likes this new fast fuel system and stuff. It learns itself and all that, but I don't know. It's a lot of money for that stuff now.
When it's not necessary.
It's not quite necessary. Oh, cool. fuel injection oil or whatever, but the good thing is it bolts right onto a carbureted intake. That is the good thing. And then it learns itself, but I don't know, it's a lot of money. But if it's somebody, I guess if it's somebody that doesn't know how to work on some stuff, it's a good way to go. Slap it on and go and they can touch it, but.
I find it hard to put money in towards engines and stuff like that, just because something go wrong anytime, you know what I mean? Like, $25,000 into an engine, like, wow. I don't think I can go. I'm not sure if I can go there or not. Ugh.
Yeah,
Crazy.
I've only ever gone as four or five.
Yeah, like a basic rebuild now is probably
But
10.
that was 10 years ago. So.
Like if you take it to a high-end shop, be 10 grand or more. And that's not hooking it up in your car.
Right, no, that's just the motor. Just the motor.
Yeah, so you're coming home and spending hours and a bunch of other more money to
If
hook
you
it
do it
up.
on your own, it'll cost you more for the parts.
Yeah,
If you just went to buy the parts, it costs more than having the job done. You take it to a person that does them,
yeah.
and they seem to have a more convenient way of not getting charged as much for buying parts as you do.
Well, it sounds.
Know what I mean?
Probably.
Because you buy so much.
Yeah, like they might have better connections, but
Sounds right.
like if I take it to any machine shop to have something done, they can tell me when to come pick it up. But at home, I have to find a supplier that has what I want, and I have to buy it. And it's more expensive to buy what you need than to have someone put the part in and have them find the part. Like anybody that's in business doing that, they can find the parts, and you're not paying that top dollar for those parts because they get it through their connections.
I understand. But this seems like it just seems like a lot of money to put into an engine. You can, for what you put into an engine, buy a whole car.
Like supposedly,
A whole bunch of project cars.
supposedly it's $10,000
bunch of
to rebuild a motor at Allen Armstrong's.
Yeah, I can buy 4 project cars for that.
Here's
2
the
anyways.
fact: you can't build the same motor for $10,000
No.
as he can
Yeah.
with your connections. You don't know how to get the parts the price he does.
Yeah.
I don't think. I can't. It would cost more than $12,000 or $10,000 to rebuild a motor in today here in Nova Scotia.
Just like doing an
But
oil
you
change.
can take a motor to him and he'll build it for you for that much. So it's cheaper to take a motor to him to have. You spend $10,000 and you won't have enough parts to actually put.
But he ripped the taillights off the car at SEMA that time because he thought the gas tank was in the taillight. Well, usually they are on 57, but we didn't do that, and it was a weird experience. We can even cut a hole in that, Jimbo, if you want. Plebs, cut us right there. Cut a hole right out of her.
Yeah, 3-inch hole, only a 1.5 inch.
Or we could you could take it home and do what you can with it, and then if you come to a point you need something, then you have to come back. We'll be here.
I think that hole saw goes to 2 inch or 2.5 inch too.
Yeah, we got a hole saw kit here.
4 metal, that's a proper metal one.
Nate's probably the only one that can use it because I know I've used it many times, and wow.
Yeah, you don't usually want to go too fast.
Yeah, I'm not.
You want to go at the speed that it sounds right when it's got it going.
I understand. I just lose it when I get a drill. I just go full tilt and it's over.
That's where it gets you.
Yeah. I just slow down a little bit.
Drilling that stainless over there in that floor pans I was doing, that stainless was the same thing, it drill slot. Run it fast, burn the tip right off, drill it, yeah.
Oh wow.
Like that bumper did when I was trying to drill them holes with them step bits and ruin them.
Yeah.
Yeah, same idea. I burnt the ears right off a step bit over there, Jimbo. Trying to drill a bumper. But it had already been cut with the plasma cutter, so it's hardened around the edges.
Oh,
Yeah. Didn't realize it at first, but learned. I learned that way.
You sure learn what's tempered pretty quick, don't you?
Pretty quick that way.
Yeah.
yeah, and die grinders, they're kind of scary to use. They're all right if you have to, but
Nobody wants to go to a die grinder.
I had a die
Well,
grinder operator call him today, and I was being very careful.
You're all right if you're cutting here, but you don't want to be cutting here. You lose your perspective if you try to use the die grinder backwards.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
You have to work it with its ability. And to do it in a weird position, don't try, like you have to,
I just
there are
push
certain
her.
positions you cannot use a die grinder. So you make sure you stay out of those areas.
That D shaft today, I did one, I started off with the grinder with a zip blade. I put 2 marks, and I went down in the middle, and then I took the 2 and went in.
Yeah.
Then grabbed it a little bit. So and then it worked. Then I get over here, and I said, I can't get in there. So I said, fuck, the die grinder's already around. So I took fuck, it was quick. So I went back and cleaned the other one up, but I should have used the die grinder on the first one. Way better job.
Yeah.
So I cleaned that one up with the die grinder. after
Just
I- Yeah, it's all tough, just a little
Yeah.
clean up, and then it looked the same as the other one in the end. Yeah, you don't see it anyways, but
Yeah. I know what you're saying. I
if I
do.
ever do it again, I know that's what I'm gonna use, because that worked good.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I've done a few of them.
That works better that way.
I sort of dread that work. It's kind of, you just slow. You really have to pay attention and keep your brain right there full time. It's like,
Yeah, you gotta be right on it. I'm
Yeah.
thinking. I was wondering if that was a bit high for that hood or not yesterday, but, and it was, and that being, now it lays flat with the motor almost.
Jim was going to get us some
Nylon?
Teflon?
Nylon? Nylon. Yeah.
I have to cut that with a skill saw or something, maybe. Can you cut it with a skill saw?
Grinder.
Yes.
Grinder, flapper wheel, shape it.
Well, actually, the best cutter would be a bandsaw.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going reciprocator saw
Or
and
even
flapper
a-
wheel.
Or
We got that.
Yeah. In the vise.
Then I'd say put it in the vise, and we'll draw our angle right on it. Draw the angle on it, then we can draw both sides and use the reset, and then smooth it out, and then cut it off.
I would.
a real fine blade on a table saw,
Would be nice.
a couple cuts lined up. Then
Table
a
saw.
planer. Buzz it off with a planer.
I have
Buzz it
to,
off with the plane.
I'll have to go
adjustable
buy that
planer.
stuff.
Oh, I got a planer.
Oh yeah, right on.
Actually, that's how you make it. You take a chunk, 1/2 inch, a little bigger than you need,
Always.
hang on to it, and actually put it, kind of anchor it into like a jig made of wood, like a chunk of wood, 2 little pieces of wood, so it can't move, and get there with the planer, electric
Yeah.
planer, and just keep buzzing it off until you make it into a wedge.
Yeah. I was thinking just put it in the
Because the
vise
thing
and
takes it off
just
just
that
like it's
flapper
hard.
wheel, the 36 grit. You shape it
Yeah.
just like nothing.
Yeah.
Sand it
The
little.
thing is, it's
Yeah.
only 4 or 5 inches wide, and maybe 3 or 4 inches the other way, so it's not real big.
Yeah, I didn't want that to happen, but it did. So
Yeah.
can you take that?
The nicest way is having a machine take it off.
It
You
is.
don't have any kind of,
I agree with you.
even a stick-on carpenter disc that dropped.
Table saw
and
be-
you could put it in a vise and drop the sandpaper down on it, spinning, would square it off.
Can you set a rotor? Can you take a one of them?
I don't know if they
rotors
work on a
set-
curve. Like,
You have to keep set, yeah.
the rotor can be on the table and you move the item, but it's hard to move the rotor.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I don't know much about the wood stuff.
Yeah, they don't move. They want to be anchored.
I beat 3 nails in one of those crooked, I just keep beating it crooked.
You just don't care. You don't care. Yeah, me and Dougie be putting the front end on tomorrow, maybe.
So you're just gonna weld that up now and you're ready to put the front end on?
Yeah. Hope we can figure it out. It'll be a rough go, I imagine, but no, getting the front end lined up. You don't think? You know? I hate that sort of stuff. What do you think, Joe? You like that wheel in your car?
It doesn't look bad. You know what I mean? Like, it's not period, but I mean it.
Period.
Well, I'm just saying it doesn't really.
That other steering wheel with the seat and the dash sure looked nice looking in there, didn't it?
You can imagine. Yeah.
Jimbo said, brake booster master cylinder match the headers now that the tarnished a little bit. They do when you look at it, man, they're a good match, yeah. I didn't, good. I guess we can pull that window rubber off too and put that back away.
Yeah. I can paint around
Jimbo,
that.
that was a struggle. We were looking at that window rubber and neither one of us fucking could figure it out.
Oh.
It took us a little bit. I thought we were struggling.
I don't know if we even.
I don't know if it's right or not, but
Yeah. I don't-
don't know. No idea.
yeah.
We need a Volvo technician to show us the way.
True.
Some
Volvo window.
some windshields go in pretty hard. Some
Yeah.
go in hard. Yep.
Well, I'm hoping that's not going to be hard. I'm hoping. But we'll see. And it's something that steers now, eh?
Now
Huh?
when we push it, we can steer it. None of us
It's-
sticking our hands in there and twisting our wrists around over the friggin' tire.
It's
Oh.
it's never steered in its life.
I steered it away.
Huh? You throwing slurs around?
That was a good one.
Jeez. I can remember when I done that. I was like,
Yeah, but
Wow.
didn't you even take the canyon kid through the parade in Canyon with the steering backwards?
yeah, I did.
When I was up with Lori Layton's, old Leo worked up there in the scrapyard. I was 15 or 16. And he had a tractor up there with the torches on it, and it steered backwards, the steering box. Every time I get on that fucking thing, I want to give her a second gear. Fuck, I run into the scrap pile.
You turn the wrong way.
Turn the wrong way. You had to be thinking, you had to be ready. Every time you grab that steering wheel, that
Imagine.
you had to be ready.
Yeah.
Imagine.
Chad knows, he drove that thing.
I drove it into Moncton Nationals that way. Yeah. Drove her all down through the park. Huh?
In the Nationals that way?
I did.
I'd like to see someone watching you while you're doing it. Where the fuck's he going? How are we going that way?
That's cool.
Yes, it's just that one. And the good thing with the lock for the bottom one, it's in the square side of the key, so you didn't have to grind it.
Yeah.
It just goes right in the square side. So.
Wow.
The little slot in that front U-joint where it doesn't have the lock in it.
Doesn't it, where it's not locked in the front U joint.
Yeah, there's a little slop in that one.
Can't expect it to be tight if it's not hooked up.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. I just noticed that. That does look nice. The brake and the headers together.
Yeah, Jim picked it right in. We looked at that 3 times yesterday. And never even fucked down.
It's crazy how tight everything is.
Yeah, it's toy. It's toy.
Yeah, like. And taking it off and putting it back on is not going to be fun again either. Nah. But when it goes on, it's on. Like if it's.
Third time's a charm. Third time's the last.
Fingers crossed.
Jimbo brought up a subject. Where's her e-brake handle going to be?
Under her toes.
It's got park.
Yeah. I do have a brand new e-brake out there. I do.
Oh, there's one right there, one of those things.
I got a brand new chrome one.
Yeah.
It would look nice in there actually.
Oh, really?
I do
We
from,
didn't put any e-brake cables on that rear end either.
well, we'd have to, what?
So it doesn't matter.
No.
We don't.
Well, we'll see.
It all depends.
It all depends.
Pending. That's
Yeah, it's up in the air.
yeah. To be determined.
Yeah. You imagine me open that door today, that sign fell on me. Yeah, I had that sign there.
Did you open it open?
I opened the thing and it came right out. This woo, the bottom of it kept it locked. Yeah.
Almost, yeah.
You'll have to show Jim the white rose sign.
Yeah.
Yeah, he knows.
Yeah, he's the one sanded on it.
That sign?
Yeah, I
Oh,
got
dear.
it painted and standing.
Yeah, they've always looked like that. That particular model always looked like that. Even years ago, it stood out a little bit funny looking.
You've seen us trying to open the hood out there.
But it looks a little
Blind
bit,
leading the blind. You're all in there looking.
it's a cartoon character looking car. So that's why.
It sort of is, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, on when you watch of Roger Rabbit, a whole bunch of that's what them guys are running in the air printer, them ones. Lobsters and Roger Rabbit. Yeah.
Now the fun thing is what to do with it.
I'd make it into sort of a half ton.
Half ton.
Yeah. Make it into a truck.
But leave the wheel, put them wheel skirts on it. And
That'd be pretty.
I believe in our crowd, the most important thing is a truck.
crab, more things.
So if you build a truck, and that's a pretty cool looking truck, you make it look like, I don't know, some girl drives it in the 60s. And that would be nice, you know what I mean? Like, that would look good as a
Make
truck.
it look like a unibody.
Make- do the
Leave
same thing as
panels
you
on the
did.
Side, make it look like a unibody one. Leave the panels on it, not make it.
I've seen one,
Leave
looks-
the
yeah.
panels, and,
I like trucks.
yeah. You could still make a gate out of the hatch that's there, half the gate, and then.
But the front end is unique enough, it should have something little bizarre going on because it's got a bizarre look. It doesn't have any other year car made look to it. It's always looked like that, so it should kind of have an extra fancy body to match that front end that's kind of characteristic. Like, if you made the rest of the car look like it was a shed in the backyard, it would look better with that front end, which is kind of special.
You like that front end?
Yeah, yeah, it's got a cool character about it, but it should have something a little nicer going on
In the back.
There's a back, a truck, and have the fenders kind of like even that box off my old Studebaker would look good on it.
Yeah.
You know, because that's a cool looking front. That would almost match. You know, that box. That's worth a trade for something. If I gave you that truck out front and you put the box on that front end, that would, I don't know if that would look right or not, would it?
I screen it twice. And then I mix it. I mix it either with kerosene or furnace oil or gas, and then and after I get it mixed, I screen it one more time and I dump it into the truck. But I'm gonna get some of them. You can get 1 micron, or like a bag filter you're talking about, like you're talking about the hat. You can get a
Yeah.
bag filter that's.
Oh, does that?
Yeah, and you can run them through that. And same thing. It does the same
Okay.
thing as that. Yeah. One of them, you know, the hats that are big white ones.
Made for it. You can't always rely on what you follow when he talks, because sometimes he's just telling you a joke.
It's starting to,
I can't remember what we were talking about now, but
Now you get something to fool with Jim when you get home, don't
yeah,
you?
no, that's a lot more exciting. Yeah.
Just forget about the Ferrari for a while and pick away at that.
Well, I'm semi-psyched, but I know what it's
semi-psyched.
like I'm going to try to pick an easy route so everything stays intact, but I don't want to disturb anything on the top of the motor until the motor's out. So I'm going to unhook everything and it's coming out with the motor, if it allows.
It's going to be an opera.
And I'll just run a whole bunch of chain, like at least 4 chains down to the actual frame of the car. And to like together with chunks of wood to make sure things don't go where I don't want them. And just hook on and unhook the motor and lower it down to the floor. It doesn't come up through the car, it goes down through it with everything
like
hooked
a
on.
Fiero. Fieras went
Yeah.
down through and stuff.
Yeah.
I took one in a Fiera once.
But I don't want to disturb the gas tanks.
You know how to work on them things?
No.
No. Big people, big guys, don't like little cars. Little cars are a drag to work on because they're cramped. Like, at least one of these things, you can lay on the inner fender if you have to.
Right.
You know, like, but, you know, these fancy little cars,
That's where I frigged up on my Bronco.
you can't get
Made
in.
it flip front. I work on that thing, it's cursing because you climb up inside of it. I should have flipped fronted it,
Oh, yeah.
and then I could have worked on it, right? It's,
Well, I don't know if it's been harder to sell. It'd sell easy the way you got it there
I
now.
don't want to sell that. I have to run that to the ground. Unless someone comes along with the money and surprises me.
Well, I mean, you've never ever put it for sale, have you?
No.
Well, you know what I'm saying, if you know what I'm saying.
I had
So,
a guy offer me some money for it, but if he would have offered me $5,000 more, I probably would have let it go.
well, I mean,
But what he offered me, I figured I'd keep it.
yeah.
Yeah. I still got some enjoyment to do it yet. I think I only had the top off it twice this year. Last year, I had the top off it for a couple of months. And just
Well, you just
July,
didn't know.
August, all the rain we had. This year, I couldn't leave the top off. I like it way better top off. It's not as loud inside. The top's off. It's way,
Way better.
way better. Yeah, that thing's loud, Jim, inside.
Yeah, I tried to follow you, but your words were going faster than my ears could catch.
Sorry, Jim.
And I listened to the end, but I couldn't catch anything you
Sorry,
said.
buddy.
He's still having fun, Jim.
I thought that might be it.
Okay, he's still having fun.
You, have you used the Mustang II front end kits?
I
very
have
much?
done one or two.
How'd you like them? A lot of pieces, or were they decent?
I think they're awesome, actually.
Right.
You know,
Did you use
just as
power,
long as
maybe?
they're long as they're done right. I mean, like
Yeah.
you can mess them up. Like
Yeah.
I have, you know what I mean. Thought about it a few times, and maybe I should have done because you have your hats are separate from your front end and stuff.
Right.
So it's kind of
So if you made your own frame and then you put the hats on.
you would have no problem with it because you know exactly. But I did some front end work, and I basically didn't know what I should know, but you learn by mistake. So I'm learning, but it's a nice kit, I think.
That Crown Vic one I put in my green, in my
You just have to be careful of the load rate that you want.
load, that's what they said, load rate for the coils and stuff.
Right. Because you get your coils in the wrong, and you go right to the ground.
That 460 is going to be heavy in the
Yeah.
front of our use, yeah.
You're probably going to want to build a chassis for your car
That's what I'm thinking, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
and make it easy too.
I've
So
looked at a couple that had
Try not
nice
to
seat
complicate
and
it.
stuff, but I imagine I'll probably build them.
Had shampoo the seats.
sometimes it's nice if you got your car set up, build it out of wood first. If you know what I'm saying.
To see it built.
Just nail some 2x4s together.
Yeah, yeah,
So it's not a bunch
Set
of money
the
welding
shop
shit up. Just set the wood where you want it.
yeah.
Like you can nail
It's your templated wood.
made a template out of wood, and
Yeah.
then you can build your chassis.
Ooh, still puff. They're dead.
Just something you could.
This is
Yeah.
the
It
longest
doesn't even matter
time
what the
in
angle
history
is,
I've
as
gone
long as you
without
do both
smoking.
frame rails the same.
Right, yeah.
Right, yeah.
Both the same, yeah.
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 What, it's been at least an hour.
The back's gonna come in quite narrow.
These
Yeah.
are empty.
Rear end.
And that doesn't have to go round. That can go boom straight up
Little
over.
bit,
If you know what I mean.
Because
Pretty
it's gonna
well
be
gone.
tubbed, and I'm gonna put them wheels underneath it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. You're like your chassis can be any shape you want it to be.
That's
And
probably what I'm gonna do.
I find squares quicker than round.
Right.
It's easier to do.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So I
And a
mean,
lot of them kits I've seen for the back end, the frame stops here, it's square across,
Yeah.
and they built everything, the 4-link and everything from there
Yeah.
back. But I'm not going 4-link, I just want a static. I'm not gonna bag it or nothing.
I've even done the chassis completely straight all the way back, rear end on top of the chassis, and then made a thing come up over top and hung the rear end. Or
Rear end,
yeah.
Yeah, gotcha, yeah. Is that
Then-
you doing
then-
that 32 truck one, man? Is that who did
Yeah.
the truck?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that truck.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. I like to have it back. But
Where's that at now?
It's some restaurant, I think, out front, and it was sold cheap too. Like it was sold cheap, and which I don't know what anybody was thinking, but you can't build something like that for $5,000.
No.